Hello, children. So, in the previous class, we were studying about the nutrition in human beings, and we have studied that human beings are heterotrophic organisms, that is, they can't prepare food their own. Then, secondly, we have studied they are hologic organisms, that is, they are taking the food into their body and digesting it inside the body and absorbing, and then after utilization, the undigested food are given out of the body, that is called egestion. Then we also studied human beings are omnivore, that is, that part of the food they get from the plants and a part of food they get from the animals. And there are human beings who are eating flesh and there are who are not eating flesh. So according to that, there are variety of our that is food habit we have got. Today we are going, and then we also studied that is the human beings have got a well-defined digestive system, starting from mouth, then esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, and anus. Okay, and each one of them is playing very significant role. The mouth we already studied. Mouth has been studied that it is the organ of intake of food, and it also helps in digestion of food. The food is taken in through the mouth and then it is chemically as well as mechanically digested. Mechanical digestion with the help of teeth and the chemical digestion with the help of ptyalin enzyme which is found in that. The ptyalin is responsible to digest the starch into maltose. Okay. Beside that, there is another enzyme present in it that is called lysozyme. Lysozyme is just to keep our mouth fresh. It kills all the germs which are in the or which come along with the food or which just enter in our mouth. So those germs, if they contain carbohydrate, then they will be killed there. They will be digested there. Okay. Today we shall study from esophagus. So let's start with esophagus. Okay, here it is the diagram of digestive system starting from mouth, teeth, tongue, and these things we already studied. Comes next is the epiglottis, and then this is the long salivary esophagus is there. Okay, here this side is actually salivary gland and pharynx. Pharynx is actually other name which is inside the mouth, which is whatever things are there, they are collectively known as pharynx. Let us study about esophagus. So going back to esophagus, esophagus is a long tube of about 1.5 feet length. Okay, and it is connected the buccal cavity, that is the mouth, to the stomach. There is no gland as ever found in the esophagus. So there is no chemical digestion present in the esophagus. However, the enzymes which are secreted by the saliva are continue to work because the food is still containing that saliva, and there is no chemical or no other thing is present which can nullify the effect of the ptyalin which was secreted in the saliva. Okay, the movement of the food in the esophagus is done by the alternate contraction and relaxation of the circular and longitudinal muscles, and this type of movement is called peristaltic movement. Okay, now one biggest problem is that is this region. This region is actually the trachea, that is the windpipe, and the food pipe is located. Suppose this is the windpipe, and just behind this is the food pipe. So when we swallow the food, the tendency of food is more to go into the windpipe, that is the trachea. So that has to be prevented. So this is prevented by a special arrangement, a special organ, which is called epiglottis. So epiglottis is found in the posterior part of the pharynx, which is a flap-like structure. So when we are to swallow the epiglottis cover the glottis or that trachea and let the food go into the food pipe, that is esophagus. So that is a beautiful system. Throughout life, we are consuming food or we are consumed food so many years and will continue, and we hardly hear sometime that when somebody's food is gone into the trachea. Otherwise, it is generally not going. It may be because of some of the accident, or it may be because of some two, three functions when simultaneously goes on, like someone cough at the same time is eating food, or sometimes while eating food, if one person laugh or some other activities, because of that, it may go otherwise. That also were rarest of rare events. Okay, as the end of the esophagus, it connects to stomach. So the food from the esophagus will enter into the stomach. Now, stomach is a bag-like structure. It is actually made up of muscles. So whatever food we eat, it goes and stores in the stomach. There is a possibility that the food may backflow. that backflow and come into esophagus due to some activities or some whenever we are uh, suppose somebody is doing yoga, somebody is turned upside down, but we find that the food never comes out from the stomach into the esophagus or through mouth out, except in rarest of case when somebody is vomiting. Okay, vomit is actually a reflex. Vomit is actually a reflex. So vomit we need not to worry about. That is something different. Okay, what we are actually what we see is actually vomiting is because of the reflex. So there is a set of circular muscles which is found at the junction of esophagus and stomach, and these circular muscles contract and it lets the food to go from the esophagus into the stomach. But when it try to go back, come return, then it closes and it doesn't allow the food to so flow back. So these sphincters, these circular muscles are called sphincter, and the name for specific name for this sphincter is actually esophageal sphincter. Okay, now come to the stomach. Stomach is a large bag-like structure. It is one of the largest organ in the body, not largest, but one of the largest organ, and it stores food. And uh, stomach also serves two important functions, that is first storage of the food and second digestion. And now food is digested by two ways, that is the mechanical digestion with the help of alternate contraction and relaxation of the muscle, and chemical digestion with the help of enzymes. Let us talk about the muscles which are found in the stomach. Stomach has got three types of muscles: the circular muscle, longitudinal muscles, and oblique muscles. When the circular muscles contract, the stomach becomes thin, but it becomes long. When the longitudinal muscles contract, it becomes short, but it becomes thick. When the oblique muscles contract, it just twist like this. So this is actually an effect of the muscles onto the food, and at the same time, several chemicals are or several juices are also secreted in the stomach. That is called gastric juices. So that will all mix together and beaten together, and that will cause the breaking of the food mechanically. It is something like that. You might have seen that sugarcane juice stalls when you might have gone to have this vinegarous. So you might have seen that fellow, they put some ice cubes into a bag and hit it from the top, and the ice cube crushes. It is the same way of food which is in the stomach, which is being hit by the muscles and it get crushed. Okay, now the gastric juices contain, that is three type of glands are there in the walls of the stomach. These glands are secreting three different type of chemicals. First one is oxyntic gland. Oxyntic gland secretes hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is important because it converts the medium of food. It converts the medium of food to acidic, which is actually required for the enzymes of the stomach to work on. Okay, the enzymes of stomach can work only in the acidic medium. So that is what it is required for. It also converts the inactive protein digesting enzyme pepsinogen into active enzyme, that is pepsin. Thirdly, it also kills the germs which are still not been digested or killed by the lysozyme, and it comes with the food. You know that variety of conditions, we very often we don't even wash our hands. Even if we wash our hands, the germs are present in air. They may get stick into the hands. They may get stuck to. They may come along with the. And no sooner we open mouth, number of germs enter. There are a number of germs present in our food. Uh, Invariably, our food is left open for some time. Suppose 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even when we are consuming food, it takes almost 10 to 15 minute time, and which number of germs are just keep on falling. So when these germs enter in our body, we are not falling sick every day. Why? Because most of the germs are killed by the lysozyme in the mouth, and many remaining one are digested with the help of or killed by the help of hydrochloric acid, because the acid is very strong and its pH is somewhere about 2. The pH you will study in acid base chapter in the next class, next chapter in chemistry. Okay. The fourth function is stomach, the hydrochloric acid even breaks or digests the food partially. Okay, so there are four functions of the hydrochloric acid. Come next is the gastric juice, which contain the digestive enzymes. And the enzymes are secreted by a special kind of cells called chief cells. The chief cells secrete three type of enzymes. Okay, mainly two, but one another enzyme is there. We'll discuss about that. The first enzyme is the protein digesting enzyme, which is secreted in the inactive form, that is pepsinogen. Now the question is why the enzyme is secreted in the inactive form? Because if it is active right from the beginning and it keep on secreting, then it will digest the muscle of the stomach itself. So in order to prevent the digestion of the muscles of the stomach itself, it will be secreted in the inactive form and it will be converted into active form only when the food is reached there. Okay, and the pepsinogen will, when it comes in contact with a hydrochloric acid, is converted into pepsin, and when pepsin works on protein, it either breaks it into peptones, peptides, and amino acids. It depends the type of protein and the duration of action. Okay, if pepsin is continuously available for work and long duration, then it can try. And then again, proteins are very complex type or simple type. Simple type of protein will be converted into amino acid. Complex protein will be converted into peptones and peptides. Okay, the next enzyme which is there is lipase. Lipase is work on the lipids and fats, and it convert them into fatty acids and glycerol. So very small content, maybe 2 to 5% of lipids uh, may be converted or digested in the stomach. Okay, and the third one is enzyme which is secreted in the stomach is renin. Renin is the enzyme which is actually meant for digestion of milk, and it is actually found in only those organisms which are continuous to consume milk. Okay, most of us in due course of our growth, a number of times we may discontinue the intake of milk. Like I never liked milk, so I discontinue the consumption of milk. So now even if I take milk, the renin will not be there. So its digestion will be done by some other enzymes. Anyway, uh, now come to the third gland, that is the mucus gland. Mucus is very important. Now you see, we have studied the two important content, that is hydrochloric acid. The pH was as low as 2. 2 hydrochloric acid with the 2 pH 2, if put onto the hand, even if I put here and keep it for 1 minute, it will damage my entire cells. Okay, so the inside the stomach is very delicate. So such a high strong pH will be strong pH containing hydrochloric acid. If is secreted into the stomach, it may definitely dissolve the walls of the stomach. It may attack. It may cause ulcers. It may even dissolve the stomach only. And one fine day you find there is no stomach left only. And secondly, there is protein digesting enzymes. So we know that the stomach itself is made up of protein and lipids. So the protein can be digested. The proteins of the stomach will be digested. So in order to protect these attack, there is a layer of mucus which is continually secreted. Now you might have seen we are using number of articles made up of iron. I got a scissors here. We keep these items, these nails or any other item in water, they get rusted when they come in contact with the moisture. So in order to prevent the rusting, what we do, we apply a coat of paint. So what is the paint doing? Paint is cutting the contact of the metal and the moisture. It is acting as an insulator. It's acting as a layer over it, which is insulating it and not letting the moisture to come in contact with the metal. It is same way the mucus is a thick slimy fluid which is continually coating. It's continually released. Okay? So even the mucus from the top is going, a new layer of the mucus is continually secreted. So this will not let the hydrochloric acid and pepsin to come in contact with the walls of the stomach, and hence it will be prevented from digestion. All along the length of digestive system, the mucus is secreted. Okay, so it will be preventing, even not only in the stomach but also in the duodenum, also in the small intestine, uh, and even in the large intestine. So there is a continuous secretion of mucus which is guarding our digestive system from being digested. Okay, so these are the functions of the various secretions of the gastric juices which are found in the stomach. And as the food digests slowly, by small amount of the food passes into the duodenum. So next organ is duodenum. So this was stomach, and this is a C-shaped turn or U-shaped turn, which is a small part of the small intestine. Though it is very small, but it plays a very important role. What is the role? The two major largest gland of our body are opening in this part. This is the largest gland, that is called liver. It secretes bile juice, which is from these green colored ducts, which you can see now. These ducts will carry this and open it into duodenum. And at the same time, the second largest gland, this is the pancreas, and pancreas is also secreting pancreatic juice. So these ducts are there, and they also open along with the bile duct and enter into the esophagus. So now you just pay attention where my mouse moves. You see from here till here, this is called the bile duct. Excess of the bile which is produced, which is not in use, that will go and stored in the gallbladder. So gallbladder also releases the duct from the liver, duct from the gallbladder. They come together and they form common bile duct. And common bile duct and the duct from the pancreas, they will form hepatopancreatic duct, and they will open into duodenum. So duodenum is having two major glands secretion, bile juice and the pancreatic juice. Let us talk about them one by one. Bile Bile is actually a greenish color, bitterish tasting fluid, which is actually not containing any enzyme. So directly it is not involved in digestion. It has no enzyme, so it cannot perform any digestion. But bile, what does bile do? First, it converts the medium of acidic medium of food to alkaline, because the further enzymes which are going to be secreted in the small intestine, they can work only in the alkaline medium. So when the alkaline enzymes are secreted, the effect of hydrochloric acid will be nullified, and even the enzymes like pepsin, which were working in the acidic medium, will also be damaged, or that also be destroyed. And the medium of the food will be changed to acidic to alkaline. Secondly, it also activates the inactive protein digesting trypsinogen into trypsin. Okay, and then third, it also contains some chemicals which are harsh to the microbes, so it also help in the protecting us against what you call uh, action of microbes. And the fourth, it contains some of the chemicals which are not fit for us, taken which are produced by the breakdown of the RBC and all, and that way it is also helping it to discard these substances. Okay. Now after the bile juice, बाइल जूस का एक मेजर काम है, सबसे मेजर काम है, वो मैंने अभी डिस्कस नहीं किया. लेट अस टॉक अबाउट इट. दिस इज कॉल्ड emulsification. So when it is asked what is the major function or what is the function of the bile juice, rather you write the first one, this particular point which I am going to discuss it now. That is called emulsification. Emulsification का मतलब क्या होता है कि कोई भी large surface जो होती है, that is being broken into the simpler substance. Suppose I got here two cards, SD card. Now, when this SD card is attacked, or it is like they are like this, suppose they are stuck like this, and if I put it into some chemical which can dissolve this plastic, so plastic will attack here, plastic will attack here, plastic will attack here, here. Okay. Now, suppose I break, so two more surface will open. So now the plastic will get double the secretion. These two new surface also come. If I break it further new surface will come. So as many small pieces things are broken, that many new surfaces come. So the substance which is attacking, which is acting, which is digesting, which is reacting on the surface, that will go on increasing. So the process of digestion will be faster. Take another example. Suppose you take mishri, mishri, that cube sugar. Okay, तो आपने बड़े बड़े दो डले ले लिए मिश्री, उतने ही क्वांटिटी का सेम वेट में आप जो है शुगर ले लीजिए, एंड ट्राई टू डिसॉल्व देम इन वन ग्लास फुल ऑफ वाटर. Stir the thing, both the water in which these thing contents are added slowly with the same rate. You will find within no time the sugar is dissolved, but the mishri will be still there, and it will take almost 10 to 15 minutes to digest, dissolve it. Now why it is so? Because sugar is powdery. When it is powdery, so it has got large surface. Each crystal has got large surface area, whereas this cube sugar will have only 6 sides available. So they will slowly and slowly, layer by layer by layer by layer, dissolve, and it will take time. So when the fat is emulsified, large surface area is exposed, which is necessary for the enzyme lipase to work on. So lipase is getting larger surface, so they will quickly digest it into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, so that is the importance of bile juice. So bile juice, if I re-summarize the functions of the bile juice, first it converts the medium of food to basic. Second, it emulsifies the large fat into the smaller molecules. Third, it kills the germs. Fourth, it eliminates the waste present in food. Okay. Now, if you really want to see how the emulsification works, what you have to do is take a small bottle, transparent bottle, any transparent bottle, and fill it half with water. Add 1 teaspoon of oil, any oil. Any oil means any oil which you are using, maybe mustard oil, maybe coconut oil, groundnut oil, soya oil, or any oil which you got. Whether you apply it in the hair or whether you use it for cooking purpose or whether you're putting it in the machine, any oil you put. So no sooner we put a oil, what we find that the oil forms a thin layer on the water. You shake it and again you leave it, the oil will again form a layer. Now you do what you do, rigorously shake it. So you'll find that the oil is changed into small droplets in the water all around, and you just leave it. Within no time, all the oil droplets will come on the surface and they'll join together. So the oil has a tendency that their molecule or their particles stay together. Now open the bottle and add 1 pinch of detergent, any detergent which you are using in your home for washing of clothes. 1 pinch, and then again you shake it. It will form foam, and after the foam is settled, you will not find that oil. Now, what did detergent do? Detergent actually broken the fat molecule into the small drops, and so it could easily dissolve or it could easily break. So the same is the function of bile juice. Okay, so bile का हो गया. Next to bile is actually pancreatic juice. So the pancreatic juice is actually secreted by the pancreas. Pancreas secretes 3 hormones, namely trypsin, lipase, and amylase. The trypsin is secreted in the inactive form trypsinogen, which will be activated only when it comes with the contact of hydrochloric acid containing food of the stomach. Okay? And once it converts into trypsinogen to trypsin, it becomes active. And the trypsin will work on remaining protein which has not been digested in the stomach. So when the protein was digested by the pepsin in the stomach, it have broken it into the peptides and peptones and some amino acid. Amino acid का तो कोई problem नहीं है. Now peptides, peptones, and proteins which are not completely digested will come into the duodenum, and from here to the small intestine, they will be continuously acted upon by the trypsin, and this will convert them into amino acids. Similarly, some of the fat molecules which were digested, I said there were only 2 to 5% which could digest there because they were not emulsified, they were forming the huge molecules. Now, since the bile juice is secreted, they will be emulsified, they will be broken into the smaller pieces, and now they will be acted upon by the lipase from all sides, and they will be broken into the fatty acids and glycerol. The third enzyme which is there, that is called amylase, and the amylase will work on starch, and that will convert them into the simplest sugar. So by this, the end of the digestion takes place. Even the DNA and RNA are there, and there are enzymes which are secreted for dissolving DNA as the DNase and RNA as RNase. So DNA, RNA, carbohydrate, protein, fats, and lipids, all 5 types of substances which require to be digested: protein, carbohydrate, fat, vitamin, nucleic acid, that is DNA and RNA. Okay? So vitamin does not require to be digested. So protein, carbohydrate, fat, DNA and RNA, 5 molecules है जिनका digestion करना है, 5 category. Which does not require digestion are vitamins, minerals, and water. They doesn't require digestion, they are already in the pre-digested form. So as food moves from the duodenum into the small intestine, small intestine also secretes certain type of chemicals, and these chemicals or these enzymes are known as in the form of juice, and that juice is known as succus entericus. And the succus entericus also contain number of enzymes which will finally finish the digestion. So जितना food digest होना है small intestine में आके, that will be digested, and the others will remain undigested. So small intestine is serving 2 important functions. Very first, it helping in the digestion, finalizing the process of digestion. At the same time, it is also responsible for absorption. Now, what is absorption? We have studied absorption is the intake of these nutrients into the cells, into the blood. Now, how it will be done? This will be done by a process called diffusion. Okay. Now, for diffusion, what is necessary is the large surface area. Suppose I got this hanky, its surface area is only this much. Okay, now same content, if I take this towel, so in the towel there are fine hair, fine thread, which are which is increasing the surface area to many times. So if we take an ordinary cloth and try to wipe myself after taking bath, it will take, I'll have to at least twice or thrice I will have to squeeze it to remove water. But if I take this type of towel, which are called turkey towel, even one person completely wiped himself, yet that there will be that towel can be used for some other purpose. Again, that can still have some more ability to absorb water. Okay, so that जो पोंछा कपड़ा हम घर में लेते हैं, they are also having the fine threads उनके बीच में काफी जगह है, so that will help in the absorption. Okay, the absorption require large surface area. What will be done in our intestine? In intestine, number of finger-like projections are there. These finger-like projections, which are found in the entire length of the intestine, they are called villi. Okay, so villi increases the surface area of our intestine up to 1,000 times. Okay, so that means the surface, the total length of our intestine is about 6 meters. So this 6-meter intestine with the villi is equal to 6-kilometer long tube without villi. Now imagine if the villi would have not there, we required about 6-kilometer long tube. And 6-kilometer long tube, where would I kept itni si jagah mein? And how much food would I have stored? How much would our weight been? How difficult it would have been for us to walk? And the food which I ate, after how many days it would have discarded from the body. So there were a lot of complications. So our God was very intelligent. So what he did, he increased the surface area of the intestine by reducing the length and keeping it up to 6 meters, which is quite sufficient for a man. Okay, so the digestion and absorption both can take place in the small intestine. Absorption is first done by the passive method, that is called diffusion. The food is more in the intestinal lumen and there is less in the blood. So food will move from the higher content to lower content into the blood. Okay, but a state will come when the content of the food in the intestinal lumen and into the blood become equal. Then क्या होगा? Let the remaining food go out of the body, unabsorbed? No. Remaining food are absorbed by spending energy. That is called क्या कहते हैं, active absorption. ठीक है? As suppose you have to pull water from the well, what you have to do is you have to apply force, muscular force. But if the water is to go down from the top, so it will go its own. So from the higher height to lower height, higher gravity to lower gravity, the water will go its own. From lower gravity to higher gravity, you have to apply force. Okay, the same way it is there. So the absorption will also take place, and the substances, the nutrients which are being absorbed will go into the blood, and then blood will take it to the various parts where they are required. Okay, that's all for today, children, and the notes are there. You can copy them. It will be better if you do so. If it will be better if you don't do so. आपकी मर्जी है. सरकार पास कर ही रही है, इस साल तो कर दिया है. The next we don't know. So भरोसे में मत रहना, है ना? And अपने काम करते रहना, because study never goes waste. So that is the thing. Many of the things which I studied in class 10th, I still remember. Number of things which I studied in class 6th, I still remember. I still remember the name of the teacher also. Sometimes I get the image also, those कैसे पढ़ा रहे थे वो teacher, how they were teaching, how my English teacher used to teach, how my chemistry teacher used to teach in class 9th. Okay, and वो सारी चीजें याद रहती है. तो आपको कई बार ये भी याद रहेगा how I taught. Anyway, that may not be so effective as my teachers are, because हमारे टाइम में टीवी, मोबाइल और अदर चीजें नहीं थी. तो कुल मिला के कुछ ही चीजें याद रखनी पड़ती थी. आपके टाइम में there are lot more things to be remembered, and that is why it may be a little bit difficult for you to Anyway, that's all, children. Have a good day and stay home and protect yourself from all kind of external agents. बाहर से कुछ मंगाए नहीं, बाहर कुछ जाए नहीं, और जहां तक हो सके थोड़ा सा टाइम है, छोटा सा टाइम है, निकल जाएगा. Okay, we would have come conquered this disease had this election and this type of activity been been there. ठीक है, पर हम मानते कहाँ हैं? जैसे थोड़ा कंट्रोल हुआ, वापस मेले बढ़ने लग गए, वापस स्कूल चलने लग गए, वापस लोग मंदिरों मस्जिदों में जाने लग गए, वापस इलेक्शन होने लग गए, वापस शादी जल्द से होने लग गए, तो फिर तो भगवान ने तो आपको थोड़ा टाइम दिया है समझने के लिए. ओके, दैट्स ऑल. गुड डे.